Before you pick up your life and move to Kenosha or Milwaukee, you need to hear this, because making the wrong move could cost you thousands in taxes,
commuting,
the wrong choice in house,
and let's be honest,
your sanity. I'm Chad Scott, your local Kenosha realtor.
And I'm Aalia Scott, his wife with the mostest, and a real estate sidekick.
And the one that keeps me on topic all the time. If you guys have any questions about moving, relocating, or investing here in the Kenosha or Racine area, give us a call or text at 262-331-1621, or reach out to us at any of the descriptions down here in the description of the video.
We have people reach out to us every week, whether you're buying or investing or selling or even relocating, or you just got sick of Milwaukee and you thought Kenosha is better. And hey, picking a city without doing your research is like buying a house because you like the doorknob. Don't do it. All right, today we're going to be breaking down 5 pros and cons for living both in Kenosha and Milwaukee, and some of these might surprise you.
They probably will, but let's jump into it anyway. So Kenosha pros. Well, Kenosha has a lower cost of living. Surprise, surprise. Who didn't know that about Kenosha? So for example, housing costs less here in Kenosha. Our average housing cost here in Kenosha is only $300,000, while up in Milwaukee, it's closer to $450,000, $500,000. Taxes in Kenosha County are lower than Milwaukee County, and everyday expenses are significantly lower. You can go to the grocery store, get gas, and everything else, dining out, everything else is just cheaper here in Kenosha.
And don't forget, Kenosha has the buzz.
Can't beat the buzz.
So Kenosha actually has that small town feel, but big city access. That means that a lot of the location stores, attractions within Kenosha is within at least 15 minutes from anywhere you live. It's definitely a quieter area. I love our area. It's really nice, and that's what I fell in love with. The quietness, but then you don't feel so isolated.
You don't like hearing traffic all day long?
Nope, I do not. Regardless of you thinking that I snore like a train, so.
And believe it or not, you can still get a really great home here in the Kenosha Racine area for under $300,000. We had a client just last summer who bought a really great home here in the Kenosha area for what, $250-ish? Somewhere in that area.
Yep.
A really nice move-in ready house, wood floors.
Walking distance from the lake too.
Yep.
So that's amazing.
You can't find that in Milwaukee, or it's really hard to find, and if you do find it, it's probably a fixer-upper.
Kenosha also has that lakefront part.
Lakefront charm is what you're looking for.
Lakefront charm. I kind of take pictures in front of the lake, just walking past it, just doing my morning walks and stuff, and send it to my family who lives in Illinois, saying I cannot believe I can just go downtown and walk by the lake every single morning. And they hate me for it.
And it's a lot less crowded than Milwaukee too. Our lakefront's a ton less crowded than Milwaukee lakefront.
Exactly. We also have a lot of local community and life, meaning that there's a lot of events that happen, especially in the spring and fall, spring and summer. Whew! I was just overwhelmed just thinking about it.
We have a lot of festivals. Kenosha has 3 separate drive-ins here in Kenosha. Mm-hmm. We have the Spot, we have Big Star, and we technically have Andy's drive-in, which I don't think Andy's is technically a drive-in anymore because I think you have to walk in there to order the food.
Yeah.
But it's technically an old school drive-in, I guess.
I mean, if you love that vintage feel, that history behind the cities, Kenosha is the place to be.
I'm not sure if Milwaukee has any drive-ins anymore. I really don't know. We don't make it up there too often.
We need to.
Yeah, we should go up there a little more often.
Okay, number 1 on our bucket list.
So local community and family life. Kenosha has some of the highest rated public schools in the state. So Aalia, you being a public school teacher here, you should definitely talk about the public schools. Tell us more about Kenosha Unified School District.
So even though Kenosha Unified gets a bad rap about low test grade or whatnot, but you guys don't see the behind the scenes of each and every single teacher that we have that are pouring their hearts into their lessons, pouring not only their hearts but their money. They also spend their money to make sure those students actually get provided all the opportunities that every other school districts have or are able to get. Public schools, I mean, I love working at KOSD just because of the fact that the camaraderie there, the feel, the students, they deserve that recognition. So they're pretty good.
And family-friendly neighborhoods. We definitely have a lot of really great family-friendly neighborhoods. We have Forest Park, lots of tree-lined streets. You can walk up and down them. The neighbors will say hi to you. They'll wave to you. Whitecaps neighborhood is definitely family-friendly. You see all kinds of kids playing out in the streets in the neighborhood
And not only that, with the neighborhoods, there's a lot of local parks that I was about to say students, the kids are able to walk to. And there's a lot of elementary schools that are walkable distance within that neighborhood. There's Griveno right there on 22nd. And Forest Park, which is a really good area, and I love the parks there too. Nash Park as well. I mean, parks like in our previous video about Kenosha revitalizing the whole community, the parks are the #1 feel and attraction I definitely love.
Not to say that Milwaukee doesn't have great parks, but I think Kenosha's parks definitely beat Milwaukee's parks.
I agree. All right, so we talked about the pros, the awesomeness, the positive aspect of Kenosha. Now let's talk about the negative side or the cons.
For every positive, there's definitely a con. So in Kenosha, there is definitely limited public transit. If you rely on public transit to get to and from the store, to and from work, Kenosha is definitely a place where you almost definitely have to have a car. Our public transit system here is definitely lackluster. We do have a public transit system. We have a city bus, but it really doesn't go too far. It kind of just goes around Kenosha, Pleasant Prairie, and Summers, and that's really about it. If you work outside of the city limits, if you work west of the interstate, you're kind of out of luck. You're not going to get there with the bus system.
This ain't a New York. You will need wheels.
Definitely.
How about the job market here in Kenosha?
Job opportunities. So Kenosha and Racine County definitely have a lot of job opportunities, but it isn't Milwaukee. We're not as big as Milwaukee. We don't have the population. We don't have the infrastructure. There just aren't as many job opportunities here as there are in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee definitely has us beat in that aspect.
Weather. We talked about weather and the reason why people are moving out of Wisconsin and going to a nice warmer state is because our lovely lakefront, although beautiful in the spring and the summer, however, the winters can actually feel colder because of the wind coming off of there.
And that lake effect snow makes winters feel extremely long and just makes them feel like they last months and months past when they actually last.
The limited diversity in the dining aspect in Kenosha has been very little growth over the years. However, we are definitely seeing, so there's a little positive, definitely seeing a lot more diverse dining in Kenosha. I believe there's a couple of Mediterranean foods, some Indian food, Chinese restaurants are starting to pop up, which I'm kind of glad and gives us the options.
What's the name of that really popular Indian place that just opened up not too far from our house that was really popular for a couple months? It's kind of died down a little bit now, but...
The Indian Masala House,
yes,
as a Pakistani, is really good and on point. Delicious food, so...
If you live in the Kenosha area, you should definitely go check it out. It is delicious. And another thing that we need to talk about that Kenosha is lacking compared to Milwaukee is less nightlife and entertainment. Again, we're just not as big as Milwaukee, so we don't have the nightlife scene, we don't have the entertainment scene, we don't have the theater scene. We just can't compete with Milwaukee in those scenes.
I mean, hopefully we can talk about the Lakeside Players, which is aka formerly known as the Rhodey Theater, which is a really great theater for plays and stuff. I definitely would love to take my drama students there. But again, we need more of those theaters popping up.
But the Lakeside Players Club, they don't put on like the big productions that people go to see
Right.
for date nights and stuff.
Right.
It's a great little theater, but they don't put on, Wicked, those kinds of plays.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
but we love our little theater here in Kenosha, so it's okay. So let's go to Milwaukee pros.
So one of the pros for living in Milwaukee is the variety of job market. Major healthcare, finance, and manufacturing hubs are up in Milwaukee, so that increases the job market for people. What about the arts and culture?
We have a lot of clients that relocate to Kenosha just because of their jobs in Milwaukee. Kenosha is a good halfway point to Milwaukee. They don't want to live in Milwaukee because Milwaukee is too big for them and too crowded, but they want to live in Kenosha because Kenosha is only a 45 minutes commute to Milwaukee, just straight up the interstate. So it's not too bad for them to live in Kenosha and commute to Milwaukee for work. So that's a really great option if you want to work in Milwaukee and make the more money, but live in a smaller town like Kenosha.
So let's talk about something fun. Summerfest. That is a huge festival that happens once in the summertime in Milwaukee area. It is
It's a music fest.
Music fest. So different types of concerts are happening. It is a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie. If you don't like
she
too
gets
much,
overwhelmed.
I get really overwhelmed. However, it is such a fun time when you do go. I remember, what was it? I remember that one concert, that first concert, Maroon 5.
Okay.
With our friends, Greg and Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
We went there as our anniversary, and it was so nice just to hang out, kid-free for once, thanks Mom and Dad, to just enjoy, just listening to the music and stuff like that, and eating good food as well. Too much food, by the way.
Some good old Wisconsin cheese curds and some, what are they?
Cream puffs.
Cream puffs,
Oh
yep,
my
Wisconsin
God, the
cream puffs.
Okay.
And speaking of cream puffs, the Wisconsin State Fair, that happens every August up in Milwaukee. That's a great time too. If you've never been, you have to go. I think the Wisconsin State Fair beats out any other state fair.
Exactly. We talked about the limited public transit here in Kenosha. However, in Milwaukee, because of the big city feel or big city structure, they offer a lot of different types of public transit, from buses to streetcars and to airport access.
And you can just walk pretty much anywhere you need to from your house or from your apartment. You have a grocery store a couple blocks away, down the block. There's a Walgreens, there's a CVS. Pretty much anything you need is within walking distance from you. Whereas in Kenosha, you pretty much have to drive.
Brewers. Can we talk about the sports life for those sports people?
I mean, I'm not a Brewers fan, but if you love Milwaukee sports, then it's great because the Brewers are downtown Milwaukee. You can get there really easily by taking the bus, taking an Uber, taking a cab, or just driving there. Plenty of parking at AmFam Stadium now. It's AmFam. It's no longer Brewer Stadium or Miller Park. Plenty of parking there. I've been to Miller Stadium before. It is beautiful. It's one of my favorite stadiums in all of MLB. So if you've never been there, you have to go and check it out.
So obviously we talked about the positives of city living, but now we talk about the negative side or the cons. Those amenities, those options for you to live somewhat a carefree life up in the city, will cost you. It increases the cost of living, so you are going to pay higher taxes. Your rents are going to be higher if you're a renter. The properties are going to sell for higher.
Homes cost more. Property taxes are more.
Exactly.
So it just costs more to live in a bigger city.
Mm-hmm.
More amenities. It costs more to run the city, so it costs more to live there, unfortunately. So traffic and commute time. So living in a bigger city, a more urban area, you have more population, which means increased traffic, increased commute time. So if you need to be to a specific place by a specific time, you probably need to leave at an earlier time because you just have more people to fight through, more traffic to fight through. If you hate traffic like I do, like Aalia does, Milwaukee may not be the city for you because there's almost always traffic unless you're driving at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m.
Not only that, are people coming in or living there, they'll need to park their cars. So finding parking can be frustrating at times.
And you have to pay for parking in Milwaukee. You don't have to pay for parking in Kenosha. Parking in Kenosha is still free. For now anyway.
For now. Safety concerns in some areas of Milwaukee. Let's be honest, everywhere has crimes, correct?
Everywhere has crime. Doesn't matter where you live, there's always crime, no matter where you're at.
So we recommend that you guys make sure you check out those crime rates on the websites. Just Google crime rates in that area, and you figure that out on your own. So the
certain parts of the city have higher crime rates than others, and if you don't want to live in a high crime rate part of the city, just look at the crime data maps and don't look at houses in those areas. Simple as that.
School quality is a hit or miss up in Milwaukee. I'm not going to put down those schools or those teachers that are pouring their hearts up into what they're doing and making sure those students get provided what they deserve as education-wise. However, it is still a hit or miss depending on the district. So just kind of do your research a little bit.
You gotta keep in mind too that Milwaukee Public Schools and MPS is a much bigger school district than Kenosha Public Schools. So their class sizes are probably bigger than Kenosha's public schools. Their funding has to be stretched a lot further per student than Kenosha Public Schools. So unfortunately, even though they probably have just as great teachers as Kenosha Public Schools, even though they tried just as hard as Aalia and her coworkers, they probably tried just as hard. They just have less to work with than Kenosha Public School teachers do.
So if you find it in your heart, maybe donate something towards your teachers, your students' classrooms, and talk to your teacher, student's teacher, to kind of ask what they actually want in their classroom. It'll be surprising.
Finally, the last con of Milwaukee. Longer lines and bigger crowds. Again, that just comes with living in a bigger urban area. You have longer lines to wait for things, especially at the DMV. We all hate going to the DMV, but there's definitely longer lines and bigger crowds waiting to get your license renewed, waiting to get that license plate sticker. Just something you have to deal with in an urban area.
And just make sure if you do go out, make sure you have plenty of time to wait.
Plan in advance.
Yes. If you're debating between Kenosha and Milwaukee, let's talk about your lifestyles and goals, because where you live should fit you. We help people like you every week, and we love to help you out. So call or text us 262-331-1621 or click on the links in the description to get started.
Hope they have a fantastic rest of the week, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.
Stay ducky. I'm scared.
Before you pick up...
You're nerds too. And I'm Aalia Scott. I'm the Aalia Scott.
Scat.
All right, go.
All right.
Dining areas, dining restaurants. Oh my God, let's do that. Okay. So Milwaukee actually offers a lot more options of if you get the blah 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 blah.